Hello there, welcome back to Bill and the Boys. Time for our weekly catch-up. We're a day late, but I mean, I'm busy at work at the moment, so it's the way it is. How are all of you? I hope you're good. It was an exciting one this week. We had an email through from Fanhome asking us about their future, what we'd like to see from Marvel builds. Now, if you didn't get the email, I believe it's only gone out to people that were building Iron Man at least, or was sub to one of their Marvel builds. So either the Iron Man, the Infinity Gauntlet, the Marvel figurine collection, whatever it was. So you got the email through, and they sort of went into all the ones that are kind of in the idea stages of. None of these are actually models at the moment. None of these are necessarily ever going to see the light of day. They have done this before, but a lot of companies do this before. It's just testing the waters. I'm sure if any one of them was like overwhelmingly, oh, I'd love this one, I'm sure it would win. But the overwhelming response I got from people was that no one was overwhelmed. I mean, there was nothing really there that made anyone go, that definitely. I've heard a lot of, maybe I'll do that one, and possibly I'll do that one, and I don't think that's enough to launch a model. I don't. I was a little underwhelmed by it all, if I'm honest. I mean, there were one or two on there where I'm like, I kind of like that. The busts I like the busts quite a lot. I think those could be fun. And I liked the Baby Groot because it's 1/1 scale. Now, I'm not a fan of Baby Groot. I think it's a little too cutesy for me. But I do like 1-to-1 scale. I like it. I like exact scale. Possibly. I mean, I'm not, I wouldn't care less if that thing never sees the light of the day. Yeah. But if it launched and the window was right, so this is the thing as well. This is how I'm not fussed about that one. There are certain ones I don't care what the window is. Like the Lancaster Bomber from Hachette. I don't care what I'm in the middle of. What has ended, what hasn't ended. I'm doing that once it launches. That's it. Whereas with the Groot, I'd be like, hey, maybe we'll see what else comes up. That's how committed I am to that one. But that was kind of the general consensus. I wish it'd been a Milano. I said this before. If the Milano had been there, I think I would have been like, yes, I would build a Milano, definitely. But no, the general response I got from all of you was, it was like no one was really blown away by it. And I think that's the problem with Marvel. There's that many collectibles available that, it's rare to see anything that you'd go, ooh, that's, But the Gauntlet, I mean, it's different. The Gauntlet has shipped. I mean, so we've had notification that the Gauntlet has shipped, so that could be here any day. I'm not expecting it till next weekend, if I'm honest, but it could be. I mean, that thing could turn up any day. The Gauntlet is different in the fact that, I mean, I've heard a lot, oh, well, you can get this and you can get that. Yeah, I get that. But as far as I'm aware, there isn't a metal 1-to-1 scale Gauntlet that's been released. I know Hot Toys did one. Now, the Hot Toys Gauntlet, I'll be honest with you, is garbage. It is. I know it might look pretty until you've actually seen it up close. Sucks. It's a resin model of the Gauntlet, so it doesn't move. It's a statue. It's not. It might look like a Gauntlet. It's not. It's a statue. It's a resin statue, and it chips really easily. That's the problem with it. So if it chips, it exposes the white resin underneath, and it looks bloody awful. The one thing I would give the Hot Toys Gauntlet over the Fanhome Gauntlet is the lights pulse. So they do the thing where they turn on, but they throb. So there's like a pulse to those lights. So when it's kind of static, that I like that. I think that's really good. And the Hachette one doesn't do that. They're just static lights. Sorry, the Fanhome one. They're just static lights. So yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. I kind of like and again, it's one button, it all turns on. Whereas with the Fanhome one, you got to turn each of the stones on. But that said, with the Fanhome, when you take the stones out, you can't do that with the Hot Toys one. The stones are just in. As I said, it's a statue. It's not a gauntlet. You can't put it on. Then there's the one we got with the Hasbro, and the Hasbro one's bloody plastic. It's plastic. So when people are raving about that one, about you can get this for 500 quid, I'm like, it's literally a plastic glove. Not interested. And again, you won't get like pure champion of the Gauntlet from me because I didn't want to build the Gauntlet. The kid wants the Gauntlet. I'm aware of what the Gauntlet build's going to be. I like something a little bit more involved, a little bit more intricate. I don't think the Gauntlet's going to be. I might be wrong. It might surprise me. But I'm expecting there to be big parts of nothing in the gauntlet build, I've got to be honest. But there's no doubt about it, it's going to look amazing once it's actually built. Speaking of what's coming next, is Titanic shipped today, and Hachette have actually updated their website today, so we know what's coming in the next 4. We know what's coming in the 3 after that as well. So we know what's coming up to 67 now. So I'm happy to say in 61 to 64 is what we get next, which again should probably be here next weekend. I'm happy to say for all of you chomping at the bit, we get more hull. So in the first one, we're doing some bits to the boat deck. We're doing our last lifeboats, our last bits and pieces on there. And then in 62, we get a large piece of keel. 63, we're going back to the boat deck, and we're fitting more of the funnels to the deck. Then in 64, we get a piece of hull. So you get 2 pieces of hull, 2 pieces of boat deck in the next one. I like that. It's a nice mix. And then it seems like we're carrying on with that with 65 to 68. I don't know what 68 is, but I know that 65 and 67 are again 2 more pieces of hull. So we've got at least 5 pieces of hull coming in the next 8 issues, which I think is everyone's kind of been chomping at the bit for. So that's good. That's good stuff, right? So I'm looking forward to that. And that it should be here next weekend. It might be the Monday, I don't know. It depends what the post's like. I mean, with bank holidays jumping in, we've got 2 bank holiday Mondays coming up. That is going to bugger up the post a treat. So we'll see what happens there, I guess. And then they've also updated the Batman tumbler. So we know what comes in the next, I want to say up to 14 of the tumbler. So we already know 10 that wasn't on the website because we've built it. So it was the wheel. But I know that in 11, 12, 13 and 14, we're working on the dashboard. So in part 11, we fit the other wheel to the bulkhead. But then in 12, 13 and 14, we are working on the dashboard. So which surprised me because I thought we were going to go to the engine, but we're not working on the dashboard. And it also says that in part 14, we fit the dashboard to the cockpit floor. So we're getting the cockpit floor at some point. So it looks like we're sticking to the front of the vehicle for now. So that's going to be good. And of course, we'll be getting up to 16. So that's due to ship on the 5th of May. But again, throw in a bunch of bank holidays. And also, this one's going to come in a box, which is going to delay it. I have noticed whenever anything goes out in a box, as opposed to Hachette's kind of black bag style, it takes a few more days. I know it's going to go in a box, not just because there's 6 parts, but because we get the mug. So if you're a subscriber, we get the Batman mug, which, okay. But it'll be in a box. So it will be slightly longer than normal. So if you're expecting that one on the 12th, I'd say you're probably looking more around the 15th of May for 11 to 16 to turn up. But it'll be good when it does. I mean, again, so we're I don't know. Again, I've not seen the pieces. I just know that we're working on the dashboard. So I know we're working on the dashboard. It says panels and instruments for the dashboard. We fit the dashboard to the cockpit floor. We blah, 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 blah. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? It could be very detailed. It could be bare bones. We don't know, do we? And we also don't know what's in 15 and 16, which we'll be getting as well. So that'll be good. I'm hoping to bring you the chocolate factory video this week. I've just got to finish editing it. And then that'll be good. It's a gorgeous thing. It's from Roker, the Rocker, whatever you want to call them. The chocolate factory is a lovely thing. It really is. But I've just been busy. I've been so busy that I've not had a chance. Something else that's shipped is we have had notification that the last 2 parts of R2-D2 are shipped, and me and Jack are criminally behind on R2-D2, but we have been burning through it, and we will be bringing you the remainder of R2-D2 because Jack turns 10 this weekend, and he is very determined to finish R2-D2. He really wants to show and tell it at school. And he really wants to be a Luke Skywalker at our local Comic-Con and have a little R2-D2 follow him around. So he's desperate to get this finished now. So we are burning through it. Now, fortunately, a lot of the issues of R2-D2 aren't that involved at the stage that we're at. There are some that are ridiculous. I mean, where you do all the wiring and things like that, there's a lot involved in that. But there are quite a few issues where you're just building bits of frame and the it's not that big a deal. So we're hacking through those pretty quickly. So it's looking good. It's looking really good, and hopefully he bloody works, because that's going to be a nightmare if we turn him on and he doesn't. But we'll figure it out. If that happens, plenty of people have experienced it and they've figured it out. Something that it's getting hard for me to resist it. I've seen videos of the thing running now and I like it so much. Is the one that I said I don't think I'm going to pick it up. Is this one? It's the Roka pinball machine. I just like it so much. I really do. The more I see of it running, and I've seen the lights work on it, and it's a bit spectacular. So I kind of want it, but I don't know if I'm going to get it or not, because it's bloody expensive. I mean, it's the most expensive one they've done. But my God, it's nice. It's so nice. And I've seen fantastic paint jobs people have done on theirs, and it looks great. It really does. It's one of the only ones I've seen where I'm like, I'd paint it, because as much as I like the raw wood look of those models, that one looks bloody spectacular when you paint it. Actually looks a lot better than it does with raw wood, because it's a pinball machine. It should be colourful. I've mentioned it on the channel a bunch of times, I've always had a weird kind of affection for pinball machines, because I'm old enough, as you can see from the grey, to remember when pinballs were kind of a staple of the youth club or the rugby club, the social club. You when you were a kid and your parents take you to a pub or something, there'd be a pinball machine. I can remember it. I pumped an ungodly amount of money into the Terminator 2 pinball machine, the Addams Family pinball machine, and the Twilight Zone pinball machine. I have put a disgusting amount of money into those three machines. I've just always had an affection for pinball. I really have. So to make my own is, I don't know, it's getting hard to say no to it. But what I am going to do is I'm not going to go ahead and get it like early doors. I'm just not. I'm going to wait and see what vouchers come up on Amazon, because as I keep telling you, I have people say to me, wow, I paid this for it. And I'm like, just watch Amazon. When it comes to Row Life and Roka models, keep your eye on Amazon, right? And just play the waiting game. I promise you a voucher will appear on one of those models. They do all the time. And you can get enormous savings. I mean, absolutely massive savings. I mentioned this the last time, haven't built him yet. I bought the Harbinger Rover. It's like the Mars Rover. It's solar powered. It's normally 30 quid. But I managed to get this. I want to say I got this for £7 or £8, because it had like 65% off, which is huge. Now, I don't know how this one's going to be, but it's worth £8, right? It's going to provide me with way more than £8 worth of entertainment. So keep your eye on it, because you will see these come round. And I've seen the gramophone with massive reductions on it. At the moment, you can get the Victorian lantern, which is normally 45 quid. You can get that for 20 quid. You can get the telescope, which is normally £36. I want to say you can get for about £16 at the moment. So you just got to go and look, and you'll see there's a voucher. Press it, it adds it at checkout, and it takes a huge chunk of money off. It really does. And that's a good one. So due to ship next week is everything. So next week everything that hasn't shipped yet has shipped. So the Infinity Gauntlet 1 and 2 have shipped. We'll be doing those. It'll be me and Oscar doing those. Sort of similar to how me and Jack do R2D2. We'll be doing those, but similar to how we do the Titanic talks, we'll be doing talks for the Infinity Gauntlet as well. So that's shipped. That should be here any day. Titanic shipped today, so that should be here next weekend. Doll's House is due to ship on Thursday, and the tumbler is due to ship on Wednesday. So everything is shipping at the moment. So we're in that weird kind of lull. We're waiting for the stuff to show up, but everything is in transit. So it's looking good. But I have got time to build my Roka rollers before they turn up, which is a lovely thing. If you haven't built a roller for a Roka model yet, I strongly recommend them, honestly. And this is the weird thing. I wouldn't recommend going small, because people say to me, which one do you recommend? And I'm like, there's this temptation to go cheap and buy one for like £7, buy like the Big Ben or the guitar or something like that. And it's like, they're really difficult. The little ones are really bloody difficult because they're so small and intricate. The bigger you go, the easier they are, I tend to find, because the parts go in easier. The tinier ones are a bloody nightmare. And if that was your first experience, you probably wouldn't like them. It's part of why I don't like Metal Earth. I've mentioned this before. There are people that love the Metal Earth models. For me, it puts my teeth on edge. That metal, I'm going to slice my thumb open on these. And it's so small, and I've got these just massive meat hooks. It's not the easiest thing for me to do, so I'm not a fan of Metal Earth at all, but that's just the way it is. What are we watching? Well, tomorrow night I'm going to watch Evil Dead Rise with my buddy who we always go to see the movie, so we're going to watch Evil Dead Rise tomorrow night. I've heard very good things. I'm not a huge fan of the Evil Dead. I like the Evil Dead, I do. But I'm not, I'm not chomping at the bit, but I've heard fantastic things about Evil Dead Rise, so we will tell you all about it once we've seen it. Tonight we are watching the return of a show I absolutely adore, which is Inside Number 9. If you've never seen Inside Number 9, I urge you to watch it for the simple reason there is no bad episode. There is not a single bad episode of Inside Number 9, because the variety involved in it, there will be episodes you don't like. Doesn't make it a bad episode, and that's the thing. It's one of those polarizing shows where no one has the same favourite. Everyone's like, this is the one I like, and I like this one. I hated that one. It's like, why are you talking? I love that one. It is a very simple format for a show. It's similar to The Twilight Zone or Tales from the Unexpected or Tales from the Crypt, if you used to watch that, where every episode is set inside of a number 9, be that a hotel room, a train carriage, a dressing room, or whatever it is. They're all set inside a number 9. They're fantastic. They're funny. But at the same time, some of them can be absolutely horrific. We mentioned it before on the channel when we did Christmas movies. People don't like Christmas. There was a very sinister Christmas episode they did. But it's a great show, and it returns tonight for its 8th season. They've said that the 9th season of Inside Number 9 will be the last, which is quite fitting. So it'll be sad to see it go, but I'm hoping it's a return to form tonight. I really am. And then next weekend we're going to see Guardians of the Galaxy. So me and the kid have got the tickets ready for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and we're gonna. I doubt there's gonna be a dry eye in the house, because from what everyone's saying, people are gonna fall of the Guardians, and I think that's inevitable. A lot of them, their contracts are up, and they don't want to do it anymore, and a lot of them are very outspoken about what's happened during the run of the production of that. So I'm expecting more than one Guardian to fall. And we'll see, won't we? But I think it's going to be sad to see them go. We'll miss them as the Marvel characters go. Who saw that one coming? I've read Marvel comics for years, and no one read Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't care what you get this. Oh, I read comics, so I always read. No, you didn't. No one read Guardians of the Galaxy. Nobody read Guardians of the Galaxy. You might pick up the odd copy. You could honestly, it was a book that came and went all the time. They'd try and relaunch it, and they put like a new crew member, and they'd take a character that was popular from another book and put it in that one to try and it just, same thing happens with Blade. Blade's another one as well. Everyone says they read Blade. They didn't. If they did, Blade would have lasted longer than it did. I genuinely did read Blade. And it being, I heard an American friend sum it up. They said, being a fan of Blade is like being a Cubs fan. You know, you're convinced that this is your year. This is where it's gonna take, and it never did. Blade would always just kind of peter out. So it would last 12 issues, and they'd be like, "We're killing Blade. No one's buying it." And I'm like, oh. So there's loads of different volumes of Blade because it never made it. And Guardians of the Galaxy was the same. No one read Guardians of the Galaxy. It sucked. It wasn't good. You're familiar with the characters because Groot and Rocket and Star-Lord, Drax would appear in other books. So they were like, when they did the Annihilation angle, they were all over that. And you'd see Rocket would appear in something else and Groot would appear in something else. So you were familiar with all the characters, but no one read their book, man. It's very different to the movie. Which is kind of like Deadpool. And Deadpool, whilst we're on the subject of Deadpool, at the moment there is a 50% off sale on the Deadpool collection over at Hachette. So if you are into Deadpool, you can go get some very nice hardback books for about £4.96 at the moment, half the regular price. That ends on the 30th, so they will be fire selling their stock, probably to Zavi, on the 30th. So you've got a few more days where you can go, and if you're into Deadpool, I'm not, but if you're into Deadpool, you can go and load up and get some very nice hardback books right now. You got to put the code in though. There is, if you read the advert at the beginning, I think it's Deadpool 50. I'm not sure, but double check that. You can get 50% off. But again, that's another one as well. So Deadpool's another one. Deadpool, the character is similar to what he was in the movies, but people who watch the movie think that's what it's always been in the comic books. Not at all. Not even slightly. He always broke the fourth wall. but it wasn't as crass as it is in the movies. It wasn't like that. It just wasn't. It was always funny seeing a comic book character who knows he's a comic book character in the Marvel universe. That was always quite good. But yeah, it's a bargain to get those books for £5. A bargain. It really is. So check them out. If that is your thing, you can go get them. So what's next? Well, again, we do have the Rogue and Roll Life builds coming up. We will have everything when it turns up. So when the Gauntlet's here, we'll do the Gauntlet. When the Titanic's here, we'll do the Titanic. And we will be this weekend, as I said before. I had a lot of people ask when we did the Ask Me Anything to elaborate on some of my my movie choices. So I will. So we're gonna pick a movie of each of the top 10, and we're gonna talk about them, what we like about them, what we don't like about them, what why I like them, and that's it. So it's not critique, it's not review, it's what they mean to me, and I'd be interested to hear if you're a fan of them, what they mean to you, and it would be good. It'd be good to know. I think we're going to start with The Lost Boys. I think will be the first one we'll go with, and then we'll devise some method to pick the next one. But I think I've got to start somewhere. Let's start with The Lost Boys, because I literally just picked up. I took the kid clothes shopping on Saturday, and he was like, "Oh, Dad, you should totally get that." And I'm like, "Yeah, I probably should." So I just picked up The Lost Boys War Clock. So because I don't like how blank my walls are at the moment. I hate how blank my walls are. So I'm looking for stuff to fill the walls. Lost Boys War Clock, absolutely. So that's going up. And that's where you all come in as well. My walls are disgustingly white. I mean, honestly, to the point where they're hurting my head because they're so white. So what posters do I get for the wall? What art do I get for the wall? What do you recommend? What do you think is a classic? What do you think was good in here? Let me know. It doesn't have to be a poster. Could be a license plate like the ones we got up here. Could be a banner. Could be a whatever. You let me know what you think would look good on these walls, and we'll look if we can get one or not. Anyway, that's all I've got time for this week. We will be back very soon with more on the channel. Thank you for everyone that stopped by. If you haven't yet, please remember to hit the like button. It helps us massively. What helps us even more is subscriptions. So if you're one of our many viewers that hasn't hit the sub button yet, we don't bite. We just like having you around. So hit the sub button and join our merry band of weirdos. And if you want to always know when there's a new Build with the Boys video up, hit the bell and it will give you a notification every time that happens. If you'd like to contact us, you can, I'll get out in a minute. You can at buildwiththeboys@outlook.com. We try and get back to everybody. If I haven't got back to you, give me a nudge, because it just means that I'm like, okay, I will get back to that. And then, so we try and go back to everybody. Because if you've taken the time to write to us, the very least we can do is respond. And that's how I've always believed. If you take the time out of your day to write to me, I will definitely take the time out of my day to write back to you. In a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice, and I do mean that. And I will catch you very soon for more from Build with the Boys. I will see you then.